Would you like to hear a story where marriage is the main theme? I'm talking to you about Shakespeare's famous comedy, As You Like It. Look at the title, As You Like It. That is, everybody does what they like. The story is about a senior duke whose dukedom is taken away by his younger brother. I'm not giving you the names now because the story part of it is for you to learn English. In the second part of the video, I will tell you something about the literary aspects. So in these two brothers, the elder brother loses his power and he is sent to the forest. You can see all around, forest. Now the younger brother rules the dukedom, and his daughter does not allow the older duke's daughter to go away because both the cousins are very good friends. So he says, although your father has been banished, that is sent away, please do not go, please stay with me. So these two cousins stay with each other under the cruel duke. The duke has many noblemen, of which one of them, who has just died, has two sons. Again, the same story. But here, the elder brother is very cruel and does not allow the younger brother to get any money, any education, anything. He wants the younger brother to die so that he can have the entire property. He wants to kill him by making him do wrestling in the court of the duke. Now, the younger brother here is very good at wrestling. He defeats the wrestler. Then what happens is that the elder brother gets very angry and plans to kill him. So, the servant in the house tells the old servant that, Master, please don't go home because your brother is planning to kill you. Both of them go away to the forest. Now the elder duke, the senior duke, along with his courtiers, the younger brother along with his servant have all reached the forest. Now when this boy comes to wrestle and wins the wrestling match, the senior duke's daughter falls in love with him. And she says that he's so wonderful. Hearing her say that, the uncle says, now you have to also go. Please go to your father in the forest. Don't come to me. Hearing this, the duke's daughter says, I cannot live without my cousin. I will also go with you. Both these girls also go to the forest. But the difference is that the elder duke's daughter dresses up as a boy so that they have brother and sister, they have some protection. They also have another person who was in the court who goes along with them. They all meet in the forest, but the girl who loves the younger brother, who was supposed to be killed, does not tell that she's not a boy but she's a girl. In the process, this young man, who also loves her, has loved her from the time of the wrestling match, keeps telling her how much he loves that girl, but doesn't realize that this boy is actually that girl. There is also some shepherdess who falls in love with the disguised young girl. So now there is a love triangle. Nobody knows who this disguised girl as a boy is. There is also the other person who has accompanied them, who falls in love with one of the people in the forest. The elder duke, in the meantime, enjoys the forest and says that nothing like the forest, it's the most wonderful place. And they keep enjoying themselves. finally all the characters come there, and the wrestler, the young man who won the wrestling match, asks to beg for some food. He says, "My old servant needs food. Can you give some food?" When the Duke hears that he is the son of his own friend who is no longer alive, he says, "Please come and join." And when the two cousins also come here, then they all become together. In the meantime, the elder brother who wanted to kill this young wrestler brother comes in search of him to kill him. But he meets a holy man who says, "Don't be cruel, become good." So the forest transforms him into a good person. He comes and sees the younger cousin, who is of course a girl, she's dressed up as a girl, falls in love with her. And therefore 4 marriages take place in the presence of the senior duke who is without his dukedom. These 4 marriages are greatly being celebrated. Suddenly, the younger duke, the duke who was ruling, realizes that he has made a mistake. He should not have taken away the kingdom of the brother. So he becomes a holy man and he gives the kingdom back to his brother. This is the story of As You Like It. Now let me tell you the names of the characters for those of you who are doing literature. Duke, who is in the forest, is known as Duke Senior. We are not given his name. But the other Duke, the younger brother, is Ferdinand. Then we have the 2 brothers, Oliver, the elder one, who's very evil, and Orlando, who's the younger one, who's very good and who participates in the wrestling match. There is the elder cousin, Rosalind, who is the senior duke's daughter. And you have the younger cousin, Celia. So it is Rosalind who dresses up as a boy, Ganymede. And there they meet a shepherdess, Phoebe, who falls in love with Rosalind dressed up as a boy. Orlando is also in the forest, so he confesses his love for Rosalind to Ganymede without knowing that it is Ganymede who is actually Rosalind. Touchstone is the person who accompanies Rosalind and Celia. Shakespeare has in every comedy somebody called the Fool, in some of the tragedies also, like King Lear. The Fool has a very important part because he tries to play tricks for entertainment. And there is also a very philosophic side character here, and that is Jacques. He is the one who says that the life of human beings is divided into different parts. A famous saying like, "Sweet are the uses of adversity." That means when you have problems, when you have difficulties, adversities, then you learn many good lessons. These are all there in the play. All these characters are well developed in the play. But as in other comedies, it is the female protagonist, Rosalind, who is the best developed character here. You find that she keeps playing games with Orlando without telling Orlando that she is actually Rosalind. Orlando keeps thinking that she is a boy. Let us now talk about the themes. In a play, I have already told you that marriage is a huge theme, because marriage is supposed to be something which is happy. If we take a definition of a comedy, we find that it is about common events, unlike tragedy, which is about superhuman events. Now, in comedy, marriage, falling in love, all these are very important. Shakespeare does this in the case of 4 couples. There is Rosalind and Orlando, there is Celia and Oliver, Oliver the elder brother who becomes good. There is also Touchstone, and his girl, and we have Phoebe and the shepherd whom she does not love. She loves Ganymede. But when Ganymede says, I cannot marry a woman, then she chooses to marry the shepherd. In this way, 4 marriages are fulfilled. Now, you have also the theme of the city as corrupt and evil and the forest as good. This is a theme which is very well developed. A lot of philosophy is there in this. And when you find the senior duke enjoying himself with his courtiers without any power, you have the theme of power or powerlessness. Power does not give you happiness or stability. Power might give you problems. Then you have the enmity between 2 pairs of brothers. These are called foils. When we talk about literary aspects, we say that these 2 brothers and 2 brothers are foils. In the case of the Duke, the younger brother is cruel and the elder brother is very nice, but he loses his kingdom. In the second pair, which is a foil for the first couple of brothers, it is the elder brother who's evil. He wants to take away everything. And the younger brother who's very innocent and who's good. All these are very important. You also have the gender theme, because in Shakespeare's comedies usually we find somebody or the other changes their gender by changing their dress. This happened because in Shakespeare's time, young boys used to act as girls in the plays. Women were not on the stage at this time. It was only men who used to participate. Therefore, these young girls are all actually boys. And sometime or the other in the play, they keep changing. And this kind of a gender balance or gender identity is a very important theme. Rosalind changes her clothes. She becomes a young man because she wants protection for both of them. She says that if we are alone, then we will not be able to go to the forest. Therefore, let me disguise myself. The concept of disguise is a very important symbol which we find. In other plays like Twelfth Night also, I have spoken to you about this. After watching this video, you can watch the other one. Now, although a very small character, the old servant who saves the life of Orlando is Adam. And it is said that Shakespeare sometimes took this role. Shakespeare used to write plays, he never used to enact them. But in this play, the role of Adam was something Shakespeare liked doing. And sometimes he did do it. So you have this play which ends on a happy note, which ends with all evil being neutralized. At a time when England was in a lot of political turmoil, although Queen Elizabeth I gave a very stable kingdom, these kind of plays were very useful because they showed the happiness, the stability, and they also showed how drama was for entertainment. Earlier, drama was only because it was enacted in the church, it was on moral themes. Today, it was mainly entertainment. It was the life of common people. So, although the locations are exotic, that is, the forest I spoke to you about, Shakespeare calls it the forest of Arden. These are all very exotic locations, but the real behavior and the real experiences are like what common people face. Falling in love at first sight, which Oliver and Celia, Orlando and Rosalind, then Phoebe with Ganymede, all these people have this experience. It is a common experience, they say, and therefore we find that this also makes the play into a comedy. The element of comedy is that you have many passages where there is humor. That also you will find here, because we have the character of Touchstone. Touchstone is a very important character. The word touchstone means something which you touch to find out if something is genuine or not. In earlier days, touchstone was a stone which was used to test gold. So the name touchstone is very important, because from that touchstone, from that character, we know the goodness of people. He himself makes a lot of fun. He himself introduces a lot of humor. But when we come to the crux of the play, we find that it is touchstone which gives an entertainment value. The language which you have in these plays, the structure which is there of 5 acts, each act divided into a few scenes, are all standard Shakespearean forms. Shakespeare was a dramatist who introduced many new words into the English language. Someday I will give you a video on Shakespeare's English, or how he brought many words into English. This was the time when modern English was developing, and Shakespeare's role is huge. So when you read this play in its original, you will find that there are many points where the language is something difficult for us today, because we are in the 20th century. The play was written in the 16th century, and all these centuries the language has been developed. But unless you read the original play, you cannot get the beauty of Shakespeare's language. In the structure, you have the first act, which is an introduction. It introduces you to the characters, it introduces you to the plot and what is going to follow. So all the first few things, that one of the dukes is exiled and there is a match which will decide the fate of Orlando, all these are there in the first act. The last act is the conclusion, where you find that everybody is becoming good, that life itself is seen from rose-colored spectacles. This kind of a description is there. The second, third and fourth, these are the 3 acts where the entire story develops. The action of the plot goes forward one by one. And in the second act, we have the maximum. So when you look at the division of the act and scenes, you will find that Shakespeare is putting the entire story for us to understand how it is. So learn about comedy, learn about Shakespeare's drama, and specifically understand as you like it. For learners of English, the entire story is interesting. For learners of literature, it will give you ideas of how to read the text. Thank you, and all the best.